Hey everyone, it's Faiza from the Boys and Girls Club, and today I'll be interviewing Fred for our Black History Month series. Black History Month occurs every February and is a month to celebrate Black people all over the world and honor the many achievements and contributions of Black Canadians who have done so much to make Canada the culturally diverse nation it is today. Thank you, Fred, so much for agreeing to be a part of this movement with us at the Boys and Girls Club.
Pleasure.
Let's begin by you telling me a little bit about yourself and where you were born.
Sure thing. So I was actually born in Burundi, Africa, which is in Central Africa. It's a French-speaking country. That's not our native tongue. We have a native tongue as well. And so I was born there, but we moved to Canada about two and a half years after I was born. So I've been in Canada since the age of two and a half. I'm 29 years old now, and so all I really remember is Canada. Right? And I've never been back home, so all I know is Canada.
Wow, that's so
Mhm.
cool to know.
Yeah. Canada's nice because there's a lot of people that have moved here.
So you basically lived in Canada your whole life.
Basically, yeah.
So
Yeah.
where else did you live before Thompson?
Okay, yeah. I've lived. I just moved to Thompson about a year and a half ago. That's when I moved to Thompson. And sorry, my something's beeping in the background. I'm gonna go fix that. I just moved to Thompson about a year and a half ago. Before that, I lived in Ontario and near just outside of Toronto, and uh, that's where I lived my whole life. So when we moved to Canada, I was like right in the heart of Toronto. That's where we stayed, and about 5 6 years later, we moved in the suburb of area of Ontario, just outside of Toronto, about 45 minutes east. It's called Pickering, Ajax, Durham region. So, yeah, that's those are the only places that I've lived: Toronto and where I was born.
I used to live in Toronto too.
Oh wow, we're like in Toronto or GTA or
I was in North York.
okay, I know, yeah, of course. Yeah.
So
Awesome.
my next question for you is, what do you think about when you hear Black History Month?
What I think about when I hear Black History Month, I hear about a time to recognize um, African people of African ancestry who have done some really neat things that usually you don't often hear about. It's not like a lot of times when I'll hear about, so well, obviously there's the more famous ones like Martin Luther King and so forth. But there's sometimes I like it when I hear that the when I hear that there was someone of African ancestry who created something that we don't necessarily know because it's not popular, but it's very useful and we take it for granted. Um, and so it's a month that just basically highlights African history, and I think it's an awesome thing that we have it.
Me too. So what does being a Black Thompson citizen mean to you?
What does being a Black Thompson citizen mean to me? To me, it just means that I represent Black people. In a sense, I represent Africans because I am primarily African. I represent Canada, right? And now I represent Thompson, right? Whenever I go outside of Thompson, I could speak to people about Thompson because I live here, right? And so that's where I kind of represent. So um, being black and in Thompson is just part of who I am, but it's not the only thing that that I am. So yeah.
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 Is there a specific Black artist slash person from history who inspires you?
Oh yes, there's a lot of you know. I love Denzel Washington. I think he's a great actor. I love Will Smith, another great actor. I love Jamie Foxx. Right. That's just in the entertainment world, but there's a lot of people, musicians. actors, athletes. There are a lot of Black people that have been successful.
Was there ever a point that you were ashamed or embarrassed about being Black?
Um, Never, not ever, like in and of myself. Like maybe I have felt ashamed because of somehow like I was made to feel less than, right? Which is not a great feeling, but um, but there's been times when I first settled in Canada. One of the things that I remember, as I was very observant as a kid, and I think most kids are observant when they move into a new location. I just remember going to daycare and being one of the only, probably the only Black person in the daycare, and just noticing everybody had different hair, like had straight hair. And even the brown Indian person had straight hair. And I was like, he's closer to my skin color. He still has straight hair. So I was like, I remember wondering, like, why are we different? Why are we different? But outside of that, questioning that, I didn't think it was a bad thing. I was like, oh, different, and I'm the only one, right? So it's like it's kind of weird, it feels weird. But outside of that, I've always been proud and just proud of being Black for
Yes.
sure.
So, what do you think about the Black Lives Matter movement?
Yeah. Well, the Black Lives Matter is just one of many social movements that Black people have started. Um, I don't get caught up in the whole organization of it. I think sometimes people have tried to make it about, oh, the organization is about this and that and so on and so forth. As a Black person myself, I don't care about the organization. I just care about the fact that Black lives should matter, and they do matter. As a matter of fact, all lives matter. The reason why there's a Black Lives Matter is because Black people have been disproportionately treated unequally, right? Um, so I think it's a great thing. I think it has brought a lot of awareness to those that want to learn and want to stand up for justice. And so it's what you make of it. But I think it's a good thing.
So, how has racism impacted you?
How has racism impacted me? I remember first moving to Canada, and where I moved to. So I moved to Toronto, which was already somewhat diverse.
Yeah.
Most immigrants, like, they'll move to like a big city. But in the 90s when I was there, you were still very much a minority, right? So being in the city was like you felt racism to a certain degree, but it wasn't like what you would see in the States. It was kind of just like, oh, we look down at you because you're Black, which means you're probably poor, which probably means there's a lot of stereotypes.
Yeah.
Really, that's what it was. It was like stereotypes and whatever. But I think for me, I just never really saw things that way. So it didn't really bother me until you kind of felt it.
Yeah.
Um, but no, I think we've been fortunate in Canada where things are a little bit better than other places. So I don't think it has impacted me in an extremely terrible way. So I'm thankful for that.
Yes. And my last question for you is, what advice will you give to young Black people today?
Yeah. Advice I would give to young Black people today is to just believe in yourself. If no one else does, believe in yourself. You are amazing. You are beautiful. Being Black is an awesome thing. Being human is an awesome thing. Doesn't matter what race you are, right? Being whatever you are is an awesome thing because that's what you were created to be, Um, Anyone, regardless of the situation that they have in life, can either look at it with a glass half empty or a glass half full. So what I would say to young people is look at your life with a glass half full. Even if it doesn't feel that way in your situation right now, look at it with the glass half full, and things will start to look the way that you want it to. So it's very important. Stay strong.
Thank you so much for being a part of this movement with the Boys and Girls Club, and I hope you have an amazing day.
Yes, no, thank you. I love the questions. I wish there were more.